Are you approaching your education and skill development in a rational and powerful way that creates more outcomes than bills associated with courses and seminars and events? Hey, I'm Justin Hitt with Inside Strategic Relations. If you're a lifetime learner, very often there's an excitement about learning something new. But there's also a drawback, is that you can go down a rabbit hole and end up learning something that you don't benefit from. And while it feels good to learn it, if you're not getting results, why bother? Here's a big idea to consider. If you're able to focus learning down a critical path that drives the desired outcomes fast, would you take the path? Would you identify what do you need to know now to get results now? Or are you constantly investing in the next latest and greatest shiny object to get results way down the line? Now, I'm in the business of delivering to customers systems that create results. I'm not a trainer. I'm not a teacher. I'm not somebody who's going to sit down and show you exactly step by step how to do it. Instead, I take you by the hand, or my company does the work for you. Very often, the educational materials on this website, Inside Strategic Relations, or on my other sites, are designed to inform the subscribers about potential methods or approaches that they can use, as well as deliver actions that you can take right now. So my goal is with this podcast is to deliver to you something like 3 to 4 tips that you can use right now today and get some kind of result right now that moves you closer to your goal. Now, when I talk with subscribers, though, very often I learn about the libraries of materials. Now, I show my libraries of materials that I've collected over the last 20 years that I use to inform myself and to create results in my business. Clients and subscribers show me their libraries, and we all exchange ideas and rare books sometimes. But ultimately, if you're not using this information to create results for your business, results for your personal wealth and well-being, or improving your ability to think, then it's really like you never had the materials in the first place. Think about it this way. With the internet today, there is every possible solution available at your fingertips. If you want to understand how to learn as an adult who's left-handed, there's probably a resource out there today that talks about how left-handed people have a different mindset and how as an adult learning is different and then how to apply. There's probably 1,000 different resources. My goal, of course, is to deliver to you the 4-step plan, the 5-step plan, the high-level plan. Now, I use patterns and systems and other things to create this, which we teach elsewhere. But if you want to transform your learning and get more from your investment in education, or even more from your investment in everyday experiences, then there is a simple system with 6 steps. Now, of course, I'm not going to go into all 6 steps here because we only have a few minutes together. But the key is to set up for yourself an educational plan. If you set up an educational plan, you're going to quickly multiply your training dollars and get more from every moment of education. Think about it this way. If you're busy running a business, being a professional, being a subject matter expert, and there's a high cognitive load for the amount of work that you do, you don't want to be burning your brain all the time. You want to be able to go in and learn something, then use it, and then get measurable results. And that's very important because, again, time is very often the most valuable resource of high-income professionals and entrepreneurs. If you have a system in place or an educational plan in place, you're going to be more relaxed and confident about your ability to secure the desired outcomes. So not only to get the skills, not only to understand the materials, not only to take the right classes and the right information, but to actually use that information to get the results that you need. Now, a lot of people make mistakes in this area by just taking the courses that are popular. I remember when TQM, Total Quality Management, was popular, and Six Sigma was popular, and now Agile is popular. And if you went and got certified on every one of those damn things, you're going to be spending like $15,000 a year to maintain your certifications and still not have a competitive advantage over others in the marketplace that you would have by building relationships or by connecting with the right people, or even knowing who to call if you needed an expert in Six Sigma, or if you needed an expert in Agile. Where do you turn? See, that's more important than actually you knowing it, because what'll happen is you'll fill your brain up with stuff and there will be no way to extract it in a timely manner without having, again, that high cognitive load. It's like the liability case that Henry Ford brought up against some reporters. So the reporters claimed that Henry Ford was the ignoramus, that he's just dumb. Henry Ford's argument was that this was liable slander on him because it wasn't that he wasn't intelligent. So he wasn't arguing the point that he didn't know what he was doing, is that he knows he doesn't need to know all the answers. That when he goes up in front of reporters, he doesn't need to know all the answers. What he needs to know, and he described it as a button in his office he can push, and experts of all kinds would run in and answer his questions. He needed to know who can answer the questions, and then how to apply that knowledge in a way that created the outcome, which was the Ford manufacturing process, which was the V8 engine, which was Ford cars even today. Now, there's been mistakes over the years, but the key is that he might be an ignoramus. You don't need to call him that, but he knew something more important than the details that he was being asked about, because they were trying to prove that he was an ignoramus by asking him stupid questions, because he essentially had a system for answering questions. So these 6 steps is a system for getting more from your education, learning faster and better, and getting the results that you're looking for. It starts with goals and objectives, because you need to know the outcomes you desire before you start down the path of education. With your objectives, one thing that a lot of people fail to do is a gap analysis, where they earnestly ask themselves, first off, do I need to know the answer? Like, I think it's interesting that there's a time dilation between GPS satellites and then also long-term orbited satellites, and then satellites that have explored out, like the Voyager satellite has gone out and explored space. But do I actually need to know the math to figure out what is that time dilation? Even though I have friends that work with different organizations, and we've had conversations about, if we're going to have internet access in space, how would that happen? If we're going to have long-term colonies on Mars, how would we speed up the distance? Again, you'll make more money using ideas than teaching people about ideas. So I don't ever claim to be a teacher. I'm more of an analyst, and I work in a variety of, my clients are from a variety of different areas. But the key to understanding is that when you start your education path, what is it that you really need to know, and what would give you immediate impact? What would give you immediate value? Then you lay out your learning objectives. Now, what's interesting here, and I've gone to many high-priced courses, and I've gone to training, and I've hired mentors, I've been in coaching programs, I always get a 10x or better result from the investment, financial result, measurable at the end of the work, from the investment in education, because, again, the education shortcuts my knowledge. I ask the question, who do I need to go to get the right answer? Because again, you can go on the internet, you can go to the library, you can go to all kinds of places and get answers, but what you need is the right answer. You need an answer that gets you results, an answer that takes you to the next level. So again, laying out those learning objectives, which might even include deadlines and topics to cover and specific skills, all formulated into a calendar, allows you to go to the right person. Now, today, you could train 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's very possible to learn about everything. The problem is again, we just covered, are they authoritative sources? Are they people who can teach you the right answers? Are they teachers that you can learn from? But also, is it really necessary? If you're going through this study-only cycle and you're not studying to learn, do, and measure, then what's going to happen is you're going to spend a lot of time investing. And believe me, I've spent $140,000 to about $250,000 in training materials and courses and activities. That's not including my time. But I got value out of it because I didn't spend all my time learning. Now, if you're just listening to podcasts and you're not doing anything with them, like today, you should really write down what your goals and objectives are. If you already have that, then, what do you need to learn to get to those goals and objectives? And then who should you be learning from? Who's actually an authority to teach you? And then, what are you going to do with the information? And how are you going to know that you got results? All that wrapped up together becomes part of your performance measurement plan, which then gives you an objective view of input versus output. So again, I know I've covered a lot. I've talked about how you could even substitute other people's experience, but you probably need a little knowledge in the topic. But essentially, you can even substitute other people's experience, because there'll be a point where you'll say, do I need to learn this? No, I don't need to learn it, but I need the benefit of the knowledge. Where would I get the knowledge from? Let me go find some sources. How do I know these sources are accurate? That type of just processing is a command and control position. It's the Henry Ford versus somebody on the assembly line. It's somebody who can take various resources and transform those resources into the outcomes that you desire, not because you're smarter. It's just because you were able to quicken your ability to get desirable results. And again, substitute material resources. If you want to be a rocket scientist, if you are curious, that's one thing. You can entertain yourself with education. But if you need to get a result like a rocket in space, you don't just go search around on the internet. You don't even go to the library. You go to the specific resource materials about rockets in space, and you form a team of engineers, and then you execute. Now, one area of intelligence, or one area of management that gets more results, is your project management skills, because you can package up your learning objectives into everyday activities. A lot of folks write and they say, well, Justin, how do I pay for my education? I know a lot of folks have got student loans, but once you're an adult and you're out in the real world, college education is not as valuable as a lot of people make you think. I had an associate's degree that took me 6 years to get, and I was making six figures. I was making six figures before I got the associate's degree. But it was because I had practical education that I could apply in an environment to create the outcomes that I was looking for. And my outcome was paycheck. Now, there are other factors that I put at risk, which was health and well-being, because I would work all the time and 24 hours a day, all that good stuff. But ultimately, again, priorities are going to change. Learning objectives should change. If you have an educational plan, you can focus your time and resources on the areas of education that are going to give you the maximum yield. As you develop maximum yield, you can level up. So maybe you learn about something that creates a cash flow. That cash flow then pays for the people that know stuff already about what you want to do, and you just move on. You don't have to learn 50 things. You learn the 2 things that get you started, and then that creates resources that then gets other people started on the things you don't know. Now, there is benefit in teaching what you know, and I said it earlier that teaching what you know can generate some income, but it's not going to make you rich. Teaching what you know can position you in a marketplace to get a better position, a better job, or can position you to get a contract or something. But just teaching alone, even though it reinforces the learning, it can be a distraction. I know myself, I've created newsletters for more than 15 or almost 20 years now, and I've created newsletters from the beginning because I appreciated being taught this information, and I would write little letters to my different people, my customers and folks, letting them know about the new things that are in the industry. When I was a computer consultant, the new technologies. What do you need to know about Y2K? What do you need to know about hiring a consultant to work on your computers? What do you need to know when you're choosing a server or database? That was long before content marketing, but never once did I get paid to teach somebody how to choose the right server, because I was selling servers. I knew my margin was much higher on delivering 1,500 machines to a customer site, or to do the integration work that's necessary to install a new server and network attached storage and the different things that are involved there. That's what I'm trying to teach you here. The educational plan will help you learn what is the critical path that drives forward the desired outcomes you want right now. And again, I covered the 6 steps in here. I didn't call them out specifically. There are some details to those. If you have questions, you can visit us at www.insidestrategicrelations.com. I'm Justin Hitt with Inside Strategic Relations. I'm here to help create and keep profitable customers and transform your business relationships into profits guaranteed. Knowing what you need to know in order to transform relationships into profits, well, I've covered it right here. If you need to listen to this again, please do so. If you have questions about what I just covered, don't let those questions be unanswered. Questions are the gateway to knowledge. And then when you gain knowledge, Don't let it go to waste. I want you to learn, do, and measure and get the results that you're looking for. Thanks for listening.